Hey you guys, how's it going? So I already primed my skin. I put the iris around my eyes and on top of my eyelids. Then I use the due date facial oil and the setting spray to prep my skin for the foundation. Okay, so for foundation, I'm using the Foundation Duo. I love this in between seasons because I have my summer shade and my winter shade in it. And I mix the two while I'm transitioning like into my winter shade, like full winter shade. So I do a twist of each and I'm applying it here with my Blenderful sponge for it's actually a dry Blenderful sponge, and this is how I get the most coverage. If you like a more sheer coverage, then you could use the number 17 brush or any foundation brush that you guys have. Okay, so when I get to my forehead, I usually just use what's left over on the sponge. I don't like a lot of product on my forehead because I do have lines, and if you get too much of the product because it's wax, it'll warm up and then settle in your fine lines, so just something to note. And then for under my eyes, my lightest winter shade that I'm not quite yet works really good for highlighting around my eyes. So that's why I'm loving this palette and why I love it for like in between transition seasons, like fall and when I'm not quite my lightest shade, and then kind of summer when I'm not quite my darkest shade. And then here I'm just showing you guys how you can double up your foundation as a concealer if you have this palette and not the Perfect Complexion with the two concealers. So if you just use it with your finger and just spot treat any blemishes you have, it can double up as a fuller coverage sort of concealer. Okay, so now we're going to go in with powders to set everything in place. So here I have my pressed colored powder and my translucent setting powder in one palette. I will link all of these products in the description below. So I'm using a smaller brush to set around my eye area with the translucent, and why I'm using the translucent is so that it doesn't cancel out any of that lighter highlight shade that I put around my eyes. And I just like the size of this brush. I will link this brush down in the comments below. And then I'm going in with this big mamma-jamma. You guys, I love this brush. Look at it. It's like the size of my whole side of my face. So I'm using this to put on my color powder foundation. And so this is just sets everything in place, plus gives me a little added coverage as well. And then just using the color powder on my forehead too. Okay, so here we're busting out my old trusty Tartiest Pro Glow palette. I was going to use my number 3 bronzer from Limelife, but my 1-year-old smashed it into a million pieces. So make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram because I'm going to show you how to fix a completely smashed powder palette and make it look like brand new again. But if you guys do have the Tartiest Pro Glow palette, I love the contour shade in it. Actually, the whole palette is amazingly beautiful, but the contour powder is really comparable to the Limelife number 3 bronzer. So if you guys are familiar with it and you have used up all of the powder in your Tartiest Pro Glow palette, you might want to try the number 3 bronzer just to replace that one color. So I'm just going in and contouring in the usual spots under my chin, cheekbones, on the sides of my forehead, and just blending it all in with the angled brush from Limelife. I absolutely love this brush, you guys, because it's the thinnest angled brush that I've used, and I just really love how thin it is. And then I'm just blending everything together with this big mamma-jamma brush, again, from Limelife. I will link all these brushes down in the description box below for you guys. So this is where my number 3 bronzer usually is. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Oh, a million pieces. So definitely make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram. I've linked it down in the description box below as well. But we're going to go in with the number 4 blush. Really love this blush. It's kind of like a warm neutral. And I'm just blending it up from my bronzer. And then I like to go in with the number 6. It's actually a blusher, but it's so light that it acts as like a highlight / it blends my blush into my skin. I really, really, really love this blusher and highly recommend it. And then I'm going in with this tiny little highlight brush. I can't talk today, you guys. It's a Limelife by Alcone brush again. And just popping a little bit of the highlight from the Tartiest Pro Glow palette. So a color that's very comparable to the highlight that I'm using from this palette is the shade number 1 from Limelife by Alcone. So if you guys have the eyeshadow shade number 1, that works really good as well for a highlight shade if you don't want to run out and get the whole Tartiest Pro Glow palette. Okay, let's get into some brows. So today I'm using shade 27. I do my brows with various different colors. Well, not after today. I'm actually on my way right now to get my eyebrows microbladed. I am so excited, you guys. So yes, again, definitely make sure you follow me over on Instagram because I will be posting before and afters. I'll also try and do like a little kind of vlog for you guys over here on YouTube as well. But we'll see how that goes. Anyways, okay, so I'm lining the underneath of my brows with shade 27, and then I'm taking what's left on my brush and pushing it up into the beginning part of my eyebrows so it kind of is a gradiated look to my eyebrow. And when I dip back into the product, I go and do like the arch area of my eyebrows until the product is pretty much off my brush, and that's when I'll go back and work at the start of my brows again. I hope that makes sense. So you want the majority, the most concentrated amount of the product at the arch of your eyebrow, and just use the product very sparingly at the beginning part of your eyebrow. So here I'm just filling in the arch, blending it all in, and I'll just sort of speed through the rest so you guys can see. Okay, so now we're going back in with the foundation palette and my concealer brush, and we're just going to clean up the perimeter of the eyebrows, I guess. So this is what makes the brows, you guys. If you guys don't do this currently with your eyebrows, highly suggest it because it just makes all the difference. So I'm just going to speed through this again so you guys can watch. Okay, and then for a final step, you guys can't forget the brow gel. This is one of my favorite products because it really locks the powder in place and accentuates the hairs at the beginning part of your brow to make them look like they sort of are microbladed. And then you guys, the palette. I've been raving about this palette all over Instagram. I'm obsessed with the colors in it. It's just the right mix of like light or warm, neutral, dark, light. So pretty. And I realized that it matches all of my leopard print shirts, so I've dubbed it the leopard palette. So I'm going in with the warm shade. I will list all the colors in the description box, as well as a link where you guys can shop this 4-wall buildable palette. So I'm starting off with the golden brown shade and putting that in and above my crease. Okay, and now I'm going in with a smaller brush and that like sort of beigey neutral color and just smoking out my lower lash line a bit. I like how natural this looks, but it just gives it a little bit of a shimmer under your eye. See how pretty are those two colors beside each other? Like, you normally wouldn't pair these two colors together, or I wouldn't, but I just love how pretty they look beside each other. And this is actually like my very natural go-to. I would just leave it at this, toss on some mascara and go. I actually did a live on this look yesterday on my Facebook page if you guys wanted to check it out. But we're going to keep going and just sort of glam this up just a little bit more. And we're going in with the charcoal and a big fluffy brush. This is my Sigma E40 brush. And I'm just sort of packing it on the outer V, just so that I don't get a lot of fallout. You don't get a ton of fallout with these kind of shimmery shadows, I don't find. But it just gives it just like makes it more concentrated on that outer corner. And then I'm just going to dust out or dust off what's left in my brush just so that we can blend this inward. So I'm kind of making it like gradiated from like darker to light as I blend towards the inner corner of my eye, but really not being like too specific. Just take what we put on the outer corner and blend it inward. Okay, then I'm just going to pick up just a tiny bit more just to pack that outer corner a little bit more, just so we have it going from like darker, fading inward to lighter as we get into the inner corner of our eye. Okay, now I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that golden kind of shade that we initially put on our crease, and that's just going to help blend in this charcoal color a little bit and give that little pop of warmth back, just in case any of the dark got a little bit too high. This really helps gradiate the two colors and blend them together as well. And lastly, we're going to pick up some of this shade number 1. This is the shade, you guys, that I said doubles up really well as a highlight shade on your cheekbones, down your nose, that takes the place of the highlight shade that I used from the Tartiest Pro Glow palette. Isn't it so pretty? I love this. So I'm just popping this in the tear duct area of my eye, and then I simply use my finger to place it on, and then I'm just taking this little tiny pencil brush just to highlight right underneath the brow bone, just keeping it nice and tight. This is my absolute favorite eyeshadow color from Limelife by Alcone. I love it, you guys. Oh, isn't it so pretty? Okay, so now we're just going in with the Perfect Eyeliner pen from Limelife by Alcone. I love this pen because it has individual hairs rather than a felt tip, and I find it really easy to use on myself. This is one of the products in my current beauty faves video that I have on my channel. If you guys haven't seen that video, I will link it in the card above. You can come back and rewatch and click that card. I'll also try to remember to link it in the description box below for you guys. Okay, so then I'm going to show you guys my little trick here with my foundation again and my concealer brush again. This is how I clean up a wing. I did a little tiny kitten wing with this look, and this just cleans up that wing, makes the tail of the wing nice and sharp, and cleans up any eyeshadow that maybe went a little bit crazy on you or whatever. This just cleans up the whole look. Best trick, you guys. If you don't have a concealer brush, you need one in your life because it's so good for so many things. This and the brows. Okay, so once you have that all cleaned up, we're going to go in with mascara. And this is just like a drugstore mascara that I'm using, just a little cheapy, because we are going to go in with lashes later. So basically, I just want all of my lashes to be dark so that they will blend in with the strip lashes. So I'm just doing a couple coats of this, and then I'm going to toss some down on my lower lashes. Okay, so now we're going in with the lashes. Oh, let's try that again. Okay, there we go. So these are the Jamie Lash from the Teeny and Frey shop. I'm so sad she quit carrying them because they are my hands down fave lashes of all time. But make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel. And like I said, follow me over on Instagram because I might have a surprise for you guys in the near future. Okay, so getting the lashes out. If you guys haven't seen my lash video on YouTube, I will link it up in the corner. You guys can click there when this video is over. Just rewatch, click that little eye up in the top right-hand corner. And I'll try to remember to link it in the description box below. But once you have the lashes out, this is my new fave glue. Not my new fave. I've always loved duo glue, but they just started making this double-ended. So it's clear on one end, black glue on the other. Brilliant. So I'm just putting a little strip of glue on the band of the lashes. And again, make sure you guys watch my lash video because it goes in depth on how to care for your lashes, put them on, some of my other favorite lashes that I have. So I'm just blowing on the glue because you want it to be nice and tacky for when you go to put it on so they don't ping off. Oh, these lashes. They just are so beautiful. So I tack it down in the center, then I pull it down on the outer corner and then attach it to the inner corner. Are they not the most beautiful lashes you've ever seen?